Today, we're comparing 15 image generators, each claiming to be the best in their field. I'm going to be using the same prompt among all of these websites and figuring out which one will reign supreme. From Canva to CoPilot to Gemini to Stable Diffusion, I'm going to be judging them based on their image quality as well as how well they followed the prompt that I give them. Let's see which one comes out on top, and without further ado, let's dive in. This is the prompt that we're going to be using today. It says a joyful scene of a dog and a man running together through a lush, green, open field, the sunlight illuminating their path. The sky above is a vibrant blue dotted with fluffy white clouds, creating a sense of freedom and happiness. The man is wearing casual athletic clothing, and the dog is a playful golden retriever with his fur glistening in the sunlight, both exuding energy and compassion in this picturesque landscape. So from here on out, we are going to be using this prompt for each and every image generator. We're going to go with the generator's default settings. We're not going to change anything. I want to see what these generators can do for somebody that is using them for the first time, or that may be just looking for a quick B-roll clip or something along those lines, or just want to play with it in general, that aren't going to dive deep into the settings of each and every website. All I'm going to do is press copy. We're going to use plain text. And now let's get into our first website, which is Leonardo. So for all of these websites, if I've made a video of them in the past, that's where they're going to be. So if I have made a video about them, just click on the card and you'll shoot right on over to it. And we're just going to be using Leonardo Phoenix. It's the latest one, up to date. So what we're going to do, everything's going to be default. We're going to press Control V and just click generate. So how I'm going to judge all of these websites is based on, number one, their image quality and how well they generated the image. But number two, I'm going to see how well they stuck to the prompt. So the reason I'm leaving this on default, besides the fact that a beginner might not know how to go and use a negative prompt or use keywords, right? I'm seeing what the image generation will do right from the get-go. So here is the first set of images from Leonardo. Let's see, if I click into one, you can see lush background, golden retriever. It did follow the prompt pretty well. It's an open field. There's sunlight illuminating. He's wearing a blue shirt in this one. But then as you go along, it gets a little more convoluted. In these two, there's an extra person in there, right? So in terms of image generation, Leonardo is very good at doing this style of image generation. It is not amazing at photorealistic pictures. So I love that the default of Leonardo is to stick with this type of imagery. In terms of prompt generation and how close it's stuck to the prompt, he is wearing athletic clothing here. It is a golden retriever. And then for some reason with these two, it added an extra person. But other than that, blue shirt, golden retriever, lush clouds or lush grass, fluffy clouds. So it did follow the prompt pretty well. These two would just added an extra person for some reason. Overall, I would give Leonardo about a 7.5. And let's continue. Next up on our list is ideogram. I prefer ideogram when I'm just trying to create still image, and when you type in a prompt on the bottom over here, you can choose which style you want it to be. I'm going to leave it on auto, just like I'm going to leave all of these websites on their default or their automatic settings. So I'm just going to copy and paste this into the prompt generator. I'm going to click generate, and let's see, this is using their 2.0 model. I do have a video on ideogram in the past. I think back then they didn't have the 2.0 model, but we'll see how much better this is now than it was in the past. 4 different images as well. They all have golden retrievers in them. They all have a man running in the background with athletic clothing. The grass is pretty cool. The clouds in this first picture are looking a little interesting in pattern. Honestly, except for the third one, the fourth one is looking like they're going a million miles an hour, or there's like a fisheye lens or something going on over there. So I'd say if I were to cherry pick this in terms of the clouds, I'd say the third one is the best. In terms of overall prompt following, they're all pretty middle of the line. I do have a golden retriever. They do look happy. There is an open field. Fluffy clouds. These look like rectangles. I don't know if those look fluffy, although something's going on with the dog's eyes over here. So overall, I'd probably give ideogram a 6.5. In terms of just image generation quality in general, there is an option to upscale this, but just as the default image, if you take a closer look at any of these, you'll see that the eyes are messed up or something's going on with the facial features. So again, I'd give this a 5 or a 6 in terms of image quality. And overall, I am not too impressed with the ideogram. I've definitely seen better showings from them. And maybe if I change this to a more specific art style, it would change. But as it is, as a default, I'd probably give ideogram like a 6 to a 6.5 overall. So next up on our list is ChatGPT. Needs no introductions. It was one of the first large language models to blow up, got 100 million users in like record time, yada, yada, yada. Let's see how it does now. Still a golden retriever. They both look very happy. I don't know if you'd call these fluffy clouds, but they are clearly clouds. The light source is a little weird. It's not super blue, right? The main light source is the sun, not the sky. However, they are glistening in the sunlight. So there's that. And it's got that landscape. I don't know if a field is picturesque, but it does look pretty nice. So in terms of quality, since it's not photoreal, it was able to do a little bit of the facial features a lot better, especially when compared to ideogram. So I'd probably give the image quality itself and the style that it's in probably like an 8 to an 8.5. However, ChatGPT really does fall on following the sunlight is a little bit too strong, not enough, like the sky is definitely not vibrant. I would not call the sky vibrant at all. The clouds are kind of fluffy. I do like, it does give a sense of freedom with the field, but at the same time, it's not a super picturesque landscape. But the biggest thing to me that this is lacking is the athletic clothing. It is a short sleeve shirt, but then you have like jeans over here. So in terms of prompt accuracy, I'd probably give this a 6. So I'd give ChatGPT an average of like a 6.5 to a 7. Now let's move on to ChatGPT's competitor in Gemini. Again, ChatGPT, Gemini, and our next one, CoPilot, have all gone up against each other before. Let's take a look at Gemini and its image generation. So again, just gonna paste in the prompt. I'm gonna type in submit. And if it doesn't automatically come up with an image, which it did, and it says that it's using Imagen 3, which is cool that it's telling me where it's getting the image from. And Gemini has disqualified itself because I would need to use Gemini Advanced. So the free version of Gemini will not work. And I am signed in just like I was with ChatGPT. So Gemini gets a disqualification. All right, well, on that disappointment, let's check out CoPilot and let's see if CoPilot follows ChatGPT and giving me a free image generation, or if it follows Gemini. So I am not signed in, so let's see if it'll give me an image without being signed in. Nope, it will not. So now let's try it again. Like I said, just copy and pasting right from the prompt that I keep using. CoPilot has done a wonderful job of copying the text, right? It's golden retriever. Man is wearing athletic clothing with a green shirt. You got fluffy clouds and a green sky. CoPilot does definitely seem to have more of that AI uncanny valley-esque picture quality to it, where it's not quite realistic, but some parts, like the dog, are trying to be. In terms of image quality, it is pretty good. The dog's face, and especially around his eyes, is a little disfigured, but the clouds look fluffy. The guy, since his face is not facing the camera, is pretty good. There's light on the grass and in the clouds and everything. I'd probably give this about an 8 to an 8.5. Now we're on to Runway, so all I'm going to do is leave everything in its default settings. 720p, which honestly isn't too bad considering that this is the free version. And some websites like Ideogram that are generating only photos allow you to do 720p for free. I'm okay with it, but let's generate 4 at a time. Click generate and let's see what happens. Again, I'm keeping the style at none. I want to see what the default image quality does, and we'll go from there. This is definitely interesting. It's definitely different from all of the other generators that we've tried so far. It's definitely more of a watercolor look to it. And in terms of following the prompt, it is a joyful scene. They are running together. Some of these are lush open field. Again, with watercolors, it's kind of like all blending together, so it's not super detailed. Mostly a blue sky, but I wouldn't say it's very vibrant for sure. The man is wearing athletic clothing and the dog is a golden retriever, because in terms of like quality, it is watercolor, so it's supposed to be not as, you know, detail focused, but I want to see in the same kind of prompt style that the others are giving it if it comes close. And this definitely seems a little better. I don't know if he's quite a golden retriever and something's going on with his headshot. So I'd still probably keep this at about a 6 to a 6.5, just for fun. Let's see what happens if I try to turn this into photorealism. And the dog and the man seem a little more photorealistic, although the dog has like wings coming out. Something's still going on with the guy's face, although it's not as bad. Something's up with his hand. So yeah, I'm going to stick with a 6 to a 6.5 for Runway. Now let's move on to Canva. As you guys know, I do love myself some Canva, although I've never been a huge fan of their generative images much, but let's see. And this hasn't changed much for me. In terms of image quality, it's still not great. In terms of following the prompt, I mean, golden retriever is a little better. It's looking a little more vibrant. I want to quite call this a field. It looks more like a path, but I'd still give it like a 6, 6.5. Called Deep AI. I have not heard of this one, but let's see what it's about. So I'm going to paste this. And the reason I wanted to do this is because there are the big names like Canva and like Ideogram and ChatGPT and all of those that we've used before. But I wanted to actually take a look at some of the ones that are not the most common, or that have websites that have image generators that are not known to be image generators, and see how good those are. Further down on the list, I do have Stable Diffusion, and I still have Flux, which you've seen on the channel before. I also have Claude, which you've also seen on the channel before. But in between, I have others that I've not used before, so I'm excited to see how those work. Pixler, for example, I used to use to edit my own thumbnails, but I've never used their AI image generator. Last time I used it, they didn't even have one. So I'm using a lot of why I wanted to do this was specifically for those types of websites that I've never heard of, because there might be a diamond hidden in the rough over here. Now, there is performance, and there's speed and there's quality. Let's open up the speed one and see how this one did. And can definitely tell this was done for speed. The man's face is just a jumbled, warped mess. It is a golden retriever. It does look like they're running on a field, but it looks like they're behind some neighborhood over here. Doesn't look super vibrant. So now let's try quality. It's going to take a little bit longer, but let's see what we can do here. I'm just going to click generate again. And this one is definitely a lot better. The quality is still not 100%. Still, when I zoom in, it's got that grainy look. Maybe 720 at best. Seems more like 480, but it looks like a golden retriever, and the golden retriever's got a tie. That's kind of cool. All right, 10 out of 10. Easy peasy. Deep AI, best AI. But in all seriousness, the prompt following, I'd probably give like an 8.5 out of 10. I love that it automatically put the face towards me. A lot of the other generated images, the man's face was facing behind. I don't know if that was done on purpose to hide the face quality, but overall it looks pretty good. Definitely looks more like a lush field. There's like brown patches of grass, but vibrant. Definitely looks a lot more vibrant in the sky. The sun isn't quite shining through. They're not really glistening from the sunlight. They are a little bit on like the shoulders. But overall, I'd probably still give Deep AI a solid 8 out of 10 in terms of prompt following, and maybe like an 8.5 in terms of actual photo quality. Now let's move on to Pixler. Again, like I was saying before, I've used this for thumbnail creation without using AI. I've started maybe 1.5 years, 2 years ago, just messing around with it before AI really blew up, and now everybody's got their own image generator, AI generator of some sort. So let's see how Pixler does. I do like that I'm seeing that it's giving me a negative prompt. We're not going to use a negative prompt for any of these, but again, you can always add a negative prompt to yours. I'm not going to change the color soon. I love all of the options this is giving me. Even the lighting is kind of cool. I'm just going to keep everything on standard, and let's see how it goes. And that was super quick. However, the quality doesn't seem to be the best. Like, very clearly a very rushed job. The facial features are not there. That doesn't even look like a golden retriever. What is happening over here? All right, well, they do give a lot of options, but in terms of generic right off the bat, brand new beginner style interface where I'm typing in a prompt and clicking go without any customization, Pixler is not it. I do, just for fun, want to see if I can make it a little better myself, but I don't think this is going to be much better considering how quickly it's generating these prompts. It's not giving me much hope. So let's click this first one. Nope, no, thank you. Okay, this one's a little better, but it's definitely got that light, got the sky. He's not looking too golden, but at least it's better than the last one. Third one, okay. I mean, don't look at the faces, please. But other than that, it's a lush field. Not super vibrant, but it's getting there. And same thing with this one, not super vibrant. I don't quite know if that's a golden retriever or what's going on. It looks like a dog mixture of some sort. Don't look up Full Metal Alchemist, please. And yeah, I don't know what's going on with his legs, but overall, it's still better with me purposely choosing and trying to up it and make it better myself. I could probably make it even better with doing a negative prompt, but at this point, defeats the point of the challenge, honestly. So we're gonna give Pixel, let's base it off of the original images. So I'd give it a 3 for image quality and maybe a 5 if I'm being generous for following the prompt. Now let's move on to Pixar. I've downloaded Pixar on my phone to like edit images and sometimes do like silly, ridiculous Snapchat kind of filters, but I've never actually used it as an AI image generator. I don't even know if it had it the last time I used Pixar, and I've never used it on my computer. So we'll see if that ups the quality. It doesn't seem like it's giving me any more things that I can customize myself, although if I click over here, maybe I can, but now it's just looking like a Canva thing. So we'll see. I'm just gonna click generate images. It does have me set a style if I wanted to, but it's not giving me any negative prompts. It's not having me edit the lighting like it was for Pixler. So we're just going to click generate image and see what happens from here. Now this is the first one. It's already looking pretty good. Let's zoom in a bit. So again, like the eyes are a little bit wonky, but honestly looks pretty good. Definitely a golden retriever. Looking like fluffy clouds. Not super vibrant sky, but all in all, like lush field. I'll give this a solid 7.5 per, maybe like an 8.5 for prompts following. And in terms of image quality, the man looks good. You got like shadows and everything going on. The clouds are looking pretty good. Nothing funky is happening with the dog. Honestly, I could see this being a real image. There's like that almost AI quality looking with the lighting around the people, or around the man and the dog rather. But I give this like a solid 8 to an 8.5 in terms of image quality also. So this is looking, Pixar's looking pretty good. Now let's move on to Leap, another one that have never heard of before. This is one that it seems like it does a little bit more of that photorealism, and it won't let me pick the lighting. So we're just gonna go with whatever it comes up with. It does say generation typically takes around 5 seconds. It's been more than 5 seconds. So now it's giving me 2 pictures. Definitely got that uncanny AI quality. Dog has no leash. It's kind of nitpicky, but all in all, it's looking pretty good. The man's facial features are honestly looking much better than some of the other ones. Sky looks pretty bright and the clouds are looking good. The grass is looking lush. So in terms of, so overall, I'd probably give this about an 8, maybe a, honestly, the AI uncanny valley territory is very high in this one, so maybe I'd drop it down to like a 7, just based on that alone. It's that strong. A lot of the same things with the second one, but second picture honestly looks a bit better. A little more high quality. The lighting is definitely in that AI zone. Other than that, it's looking pretty good. I'll give Leap a solid 8 out of 10 overall. Next on the list, we got Claude. So let's post in our prompt and click go. And let's see what Claude creates. So this is what it did by default. It created an SVG illustration, which can be seen, you know, if you blow it up, it'll still look as good as if it was shrunken down really small, which means if I zoom in, this is very detailed. So let's try this again, but this time, let's see if we can have it just create a more detailed illustration, let's say. I'm going to tell it to give me a realistic image and see if that works. The realism part is I'm telling it what kind of style I want it to be. But I figure if I didn't give it anything, it gave me this. So let's meet in the middle. Let's give it a specific criteria and we'll go from there. So good to know. Claude cannot do that. So the only thing that it can do, and you can see here, is to create the vector graphics that we just had. So judging this one, let's see. The sky is blue. There are clouds. I don't know if I'd call them fluffy, but they are white clouds. There's a golden retriever duck thing right there. And there is a person without a face. So, I mean, it's got everything. I don't know if the sun is glistening, but it's got the 4 rays. So 10 out of 10. So we are using Hugging Face for this next one. We are going to use Flux, which I have a video over here if you want to go check that out, about Flux from Black Forest Labs. Now this is the Flux Schnell. I think the video we made was from the pro version, and we did some stuff that we can modify it with my own face and everything, so definitely go check that out if you're interested. However, right now we're just going to use the original Flux Schnell, the first one that came out a couple months ago at this point, honestly. So text to image, enter your sentence here. Again, we're not going to change anything. I am not a pro with Hugging Face, so if you have any suggestions on how to get this more consistent, if there's a different Flux that I should be using on a different website, let me know in the comments down below. It's more basic and a more generalized version of Flux, as opposed to, you can really narrow this down, especially with like a lore model. Right now, I wanted to keep it as general and basic as possible. Let's compute and see what happens. I do like, again, just like with Claude, it's showing me what it's doing in code that I can see, which is kind of cool if I wanted to take a look at what it's doing. But let's take a look. So there is a golden retriever here. There is a man that seems to be blending into the dog, although there's legs here that might be, I don't know what's going on. I'm going to think positive though. It does have vibrant colors. The sky is blue. There's definitely, I would say this is one of the most fluffy clouds I've seen. Lush grass, golden retriever, man thing. Man is wearing athletic shirt. There is no sun, but it is vibrant. It's kind of shining through. Overall, I can't overlook this too much. I'd probably give this image like an 8 out of 10 in terms of prompt following. This is a big one though. I don't know if I can overlook this. And then I'd probably give it like a 6.5 in terms of image quality. We zoom into the face, something's going on with the eyes. You know, so it's not like super high end and then all of this going on. So overall, I'd say I'd give Flux a solid 7 out of 10. Next on the list, we are using Hugging Face again, but this time we're using it for stable diffusion. I'm going to enter the prompt. Click generate image, and it did give us 4 images. I don't know what's going on over here. This one isn't, honestly, it's the best one out of the bunch. I wouldn't call that a vibrant sky. I don't know what's going on with a golden retriever. It kind of almost looks like a golden retriever with like a cleft palate or something going on. The man's face is a little unexcusable over there. Oh, I feel like this guy's face we can turn into a man. And golden retriever didn't want to retrieve his legs. Little confused about that one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find a different stable diffusion, not on Hugging Face. It does say a demo here, so let's try this again. I do want to use the web version of stable diffusion. I'm not great with trying to create APIs and all that. If somebody want to help me out, let me know. But for now, like all of these other websites, I'm trying to keep this in browser, easiest to use, which honestly with Stable Diffusion, this is the second time I'm ever using Stable Diffusion. So I am basically a beginner, but I want to try to keep this video specifically for those who are just starting to get into image generation, looking into the world of AI, or simply just want to create a simple image for something. I'm not trying to modify it, anything like that. So for this last one, for Stable Diffusion, let's see what it comes up with. Hopefully it's better than this one. Okay, already better. It's looking like a guy who's looking like he's having the time of his life. And honestly, he's in a lush field with 2 golden retrievers, sun shining behind him, the vibrant light, fluffy clouds, blue sky. Honestly, this is tracking pretty well. The image quality overall, you zoom in and it's got, you know, its flaws. It's not completely realistic. You can, like, it's got the AI shine on the dogs that we've talked about a few times. Overall, though, I'd probably give this a solid 7.5 out of 10. In terms of following the prompt, I'd probably give this, honestly, like a 9 out of 10. This did really well at following exactly what I wanted. You know, athletic clothing, vibrant sky, could be a little brighter, but still the sun is shining. But you know, this is There's some dark clouds in there. So I'd probably give it overall, 7 for image quality, 8 for following the prompt, maybe a 9. I'd give this an average of an 8. And with that, we are done. Here is the final list for anybody that wants to see. If you want to take a look at any of these websites, I'll leave them all in the description below. You can take a look at them yourselves. I'm sure there is a better way to do some of these websites. For example, Stable Diffusion and Flux. I'm sure there are better websites to be doing this. You can modify it to your own accord. I just wanted to do a simple test, run the same prompt along all of these websites and see what comes up. If you think some of these ratings were too harsh or too light, let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, I'll catch you next time.